Hello everyone, I'm Richard Gon of Actively Podcast version. This time, I'd like to talk about, what matters is whether, laws or regulations of some countries or regions allow things or not. What matters is regulations or laws of the nations of the regions. And, nowadays or recently or these days, drugs are getting allowed. Drugs are getting allowed. I mean, marijuana, particularly, the drug I'm talking about is marijuana or marijuana. And, in, in some in some states of in the United States, I don't know, I don't know how it's difficult to express, or it's difficult to call states in United States. In in some in some states or some states of the United States of America, some states allow people to use marijuanas or marijuanas. There are many ways to call marijuana, and as I said, what matters is whether the regulations or the laws of state level or federal levels allow allows allow people to use something or something. Just something is, for example, marijuana, which is what I have just told you. And in a period of the history of the United States of America, booze are banned or booze are prohibited, which means booze are booze are alcohol drinks. And in in your past or in a period of the history in the United States, people at the time couldn't drink alcohol drinks or booze legally. I mean, there are many. I forgot how to say that. Not pawn shop. I forgot how to say that. There are bars where there are bars where booze are served, or where alcohol drinks are served at the time when booze or alcohol drinks were prohibited. But in in such in that situation, booze and alcohol drinks are banned. And in the, but the present state, or today, or the present time, many countries prohibit it. Many countries prohibit the use of drugs or the use of marijuanas. But what matters is that whether laws and regulations allow people to use or say okay. What matters is whether regulations or laws say okay about the use of marijuanas. And some countries allow their citizens to use some drugs or marijuanas. I don't know in which country allows or which country doesn't allow. What and or in the term of regulations, that allowance is called discrimination. Some countries discriminate the use of drug or the use of marijuana. And particularly, marijuanas are getting permitted to be used by the citizens. And concerning which, at least in some European countries, or in some maybe Latin American countries, the use of, but particularly in terms of the medical use of marijuana, such medical uses are allowed in many countries. And the typical examples are some European countries and some, as long as I can remember, some Latin American countries allow or permit the medical use of marijuanas. And what I'd like to say in this episode is, this is the conclusion. I brought the conclusion to the later part of this episode. And what matters is in this episode is that this is a case, or this case of marijuana is applicable to porn contents. I mean, this is a case to porn contents, and which means what matters is whether your country, or the regulations or the laws of your country allow people to enjoy or create porn contents, which means, what I'd like to tell you is that, as you know, booze, alcohol drinks, and marijuana are not dangerous to human bodies, which means, of course, as to drinking too much or drinking a lot of alcohol drinks, or drinking the large amount of alcohol drinks and is not, it's not so good. And if the amount of the alcohol drinks taken by you exceeds the ideal limit of your bodily condition or your bodily situation, that is harmful to your human bodies. Which means, if you drank too much amount of alcohol drinks, that is really harmful to your body. That is that simple, and this is a case to marijuana, which means if you took marijuana too much, which is detrimental to your bodies, and this is the case to porn content. And if you watch too many porn contents, or for example, if you watch too many porn videos, that is harmful to your life or to your lives. I mean, watching porn contents eats a lot of time you have, and this is the perspective, or this is a term of time consumption. But this is also the case of mental health, or psychological health concerning which taking moderate amount of porn content is good, just like taking moderate amount of alcohol drinks, or moderate amount of, or prescribed in the case of medical marijuana, taking the prescribed amount of marijuana is good for your body. And of course, what matters is that what regulations or laws require or permit the citizens or people to use those regulated or banned or remarked stuff. For example, typical examples are alcohol drinks and marijuana and porn contents. So what matters is that when it comes to use such kind of thing, you should check whether that thing is, or those things are dangerous or harmful or not. And you should check the local or national regulations you live in, which is, you should check the rules or regulations applicable or used in the country where you live in, which is what I'd like to tell you. That's it. Thank you very much for your listening. See you.